Analysis for dated August 14, 2023. Let us move on into the table of contents. Now, these are the topics we have taken up for today's discussion from the mains examination point of view. We will be discussing 4 topics. First, the problem of the Dalit Christians. So, those Dalits who converted to Christianity, what are the issues that are facing? Mainly, the issues being that they are not being given the advantage of being a scheduled caste. So, while people who are little or still Hindus, they have the access to reservation benefits that they have been given to them under the law. However, when the list convert to Christianity, they lose on the benefits, and this demand has been made by this community for a long time. Second article that we will be discussing is about India's judicial data. It has been released by government's Dusk portal. Dux portal, as you know, gives a lot of data mainly about high courts in India. This data tells about how many cases are pending in high courts, especially the status of bail appeals. Why it is that many courts are facing a huge pending number of cases. That what is that the pandemic has gotten to third play in this third, and we will be discussing about the bulldozing of the laws. As you know, there is a new term that has emerged in our political discussion, something called bulldozer justice. A lot of governments have opted for using bulldozers. The justification is that they are only destroying those buildings, those apartments which are illegal earlier. But is it as per the law? Is it the way forward to deliver justice in the society? This is what we will be discussing forth. We will be discussing how India's defense ministry is opting for its own India made operating system called Maya operating system in place of Microsoft Windows. Why is it that Microsoft Windows is no longer concerned as a safe option for our defense ministry from prelims examination point of view? We have a couple of topics. From the first front page of Hindu newspaper, there is something called PM Usha scheme, with a scheme for taking care of higher education in India. However, the problem is a lot of states, almost half of the states in India are still to join the scheme. In the end, we have a science related news, that is a metagenomic sequencing technology, and how it is transforming our attempt to make sure that future diseases, future pandemics, and such a COVID crisis is already curtailed. So let us now discuss without any delay further. Just jump into the first article that we have. First article that you see on the screen is a conundrum being faced by the Dalit question. Let me give you a very simple background of what's the issue and what to do right now. And as you know, the Dalit community for many decades, in fact for many centuries, have faced discrimination at the hands of the people in the society. The lid have been discriminated against, be it where they can live, what occupation they can take up, and where they can get educated. And still have many places in India where the lists are not allowed to take part in weddings, where they are not allowed to go to public places, even how the late weddings will take place, and they are not restricted in certain areas in certain societies. So what happened was, in order to go away from this discrimination, many people from community thought that if they convert to some other religion and they don't remain a part of the Hindu religion anymore, maybe they will not face the discrimination. So many of the Dalits over the past few decades have converted to different religions. Many of them have converted to Buddhism, many of them have converted to Sikhism, and many of them have converted to Christianity. And this is where the problem starts. The problem is for the community and for their upliftment. The main provision that government has ensured is reservation. As you know, reservation benefits are given to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. Now the reservation benefits to scheduled caste that is given to the Dalits, they are not applicable to those who that are Dalits converted to Christianity. This is where the problem starts. So once a Dalit converts to Christianity, he or she cannot claim the reservation benefits that are given to him or her under the reservation laws in India. Now the problem here is just a person just because a person has converted to other religion, that doesn't mean that his or her past or discrimination ends overnight. So why is it that you are taking away the reservation benefits? That still remains a matter of great concern. There have been a multiple reports that there have been a multiple committees have been formed, and time and again multiple committees have suggested recommendation to the government that Christians should be given their due right of reservation, but the government for some reasons has not been in favor of this. Let me give you a few examples. There is something called the KG Balakrishnan committee, a former Chief Justice of India. Last year the committee gave a report saying that the little Christians should be given scheduled caste status. In fact, recently Tamil Nadu Assembly just passed a resolution to amend the 1950 presidential order. Now this is very interesting. We'll discuss about this in just a bit of detail. The problem here is the states do not have the power to include a certain community in the scheduled caste list or in the scheduled tribe list. So for example, if a certain demand is made at the state level, and there have been many demands made in the past as well. I am sure you would remember the OBC demand mainly, for example, Maratha community in Maharashtra. There was this partial community demand. In Gujarat there was also demand for example from Jai community. In Haryana there have been multiple such agitation that have started in different states, but the problem is that is not in the hands of the state to take the decisions. Ultimately it has to taken at the central government level. So what the state government can do at best is they just pass a resolution. They say what the Tamil Nadu Assembly did, a resolution was adopted, and now I am sure all of you would know resolution does not have the force of law, and the law is enforceable in the court. Resolutions are not enforceable. For example, just imagine whenever the new year starts, you make a new year resolution, right? That this year I will go to gym every single day. This year I will study 10 hours every single day. Just imagine that those resolution had a force of law, and someone could go to the court against you because you did not fulfill the resolution. So this understand, the resolution just shows that you intend to do this. This is what you mean to do, but it does not have a force of law. So the Tamil Nadu Assembly adopted a resolution. That does not mean that they have the power to give this right of reservation to certain committee. It just means that they can ask or they can try to convince the central government to go ahead and do this. So they cannot do this, and they can just show their intention of doing this. Ultimately it has to be done through a amending of 1950 presidential 1950 presidential order, and I will come to the president's order in just a bit. Slaughters in just a bit. We also had the Justice Raghunathan Mishra Commission in 2007. They also had a recommendation that we should permit those Dalits who have converted to Christianity to get reservation benefits. I will tell you the reasons why this is odd, and the reason why this is odd is if a Dalit converts to other religion, for example, let us say Buddhism, Sikhism, they still have the right to get reservation benefits. It is when they convert to Christianity that the reservation benefits are lost. So this is the discrimination that we are focusing on. Other part of the story in Indian laws mainly works on single access framework. Now what do you mean by single access framework? When you say the word Dalit Christians, you are actually giving two different identities to a same person. For example, let us say there is a minority woman or a woman belonging to minority community, or let us say there is a person who is handicapped and belongs to the minority community, something like that. The problem is Indian laws don't really focus on multiple identities. They just focus on one single identity. So for example, there are laws for reservation of Dalits, for tribals, but the laws don't focus on if a person belongs to multiple communities and handicapped from the multiple sides. So there is no law is for the electrician. No specific law for minority women. There is be law for minority, there is a different law for women, and there is different for handicapped, and the different law for those who are from minority communities. So for our laws mainly are focused on single access framework, meaning that those people who identify themselves in more than one ways, for them these laws are not ideally made. The problem with those, for example, who are converted to Christianity to escape the discrimination is they are now being discriminated on both the sides. So most of the allocations who have converted to Christianity, they are still facing discrimination in the Christian community as well. Many of them are still not allowed to visit churches. Many of them are told that no churches will be separate, you can't take part in this congregation. So they are facing discrimination on both sides of the spectrum. One, they are not getting the reservation benefits that they are entitled to, so that their future can be better, and they are still facing discrimination in the new community, which they are entered hoping that this discrimination tax would go away from them. Now, why is it that government does not allow this reservation benefits to be given to the allocations to the government? Says Dalit Christians itself is an oxymoron. You know what is an oxymoron? Oxymoron means two words joined together but actually opposite to each other. So two words that are actually joined which are opposite, for example, like some you may agree to examples like this. A few years back, Pakistan started this logic at the international stage that there are peoples who are good terrorists. So whenever India takes up this issue of terrorism with Pakistan, Pakistan says there are some terrorists who are good terrorists and terrorists who are bad, and they are nothing called good terrorists. This is an oxymoron. There is nothing called a good terrorist. Similarly, as per many experts, the government, there is nothing called the Dalit Christians. Why? Because as per experts within the Christianity, there is no caste system. Since there is no caste system within the Christianity, now you can say that there are certain peoples who are who are Christian. This is where the government still not agree to give them this tag of reservation which they deserve in their point of view. Now the single access framework, as I said, as Indian law being one dimensional, Indian law being only applicable to community who belong to or has been identified with one single identity. This has been even by the judiciary. For example, in 1985 there was a case called Society Susai etc. etc. versus Union of India case, who has this person now who was this person? This was a Dalit Catholic shoemaker. Means again the case went to the Supreme Court, in which person was arguing that he should be given the right to set up a kiosk. That means kiosk. Right to set up a kiosk means basically a temporary shop. He should be allowed to set up them temporary shop on a platform in Madras, just like other people have been allowed to do so that it is proven that he is an pair with Hindu shoemaker. He said that the government should allow me to also the space to go and make sure that I also set up my shop at similar platforms, that I am being discriminated against whoever however the court said that no, this can't be done. The court said it is necessary to establish that even after you have converted to Christianity, you still face the discrimination. If you don't face the discrimination, you cannot argue that you have the right to reservation. So in other words, the shoemaker was demanding a right of reservation, that I should also be given a place at par with others, even though I might not have the money, even though I might not have the resources, but I need that reservation. However, the court said that no, now that you have converted to some other religion, now you first have to prove that even after converting you still face this discrimination, you still face these disabilities only, and only then we would be able to grant you this. So this concept of single access framework laws being only applicable to one single identity, not multiple identities that have been not just by the government but even by the judiciary in the past. Now few important set of information apart from what I have written in this article. Mentions the 2007 Raghunathan report. Now this report in itself is extremely important because this report has been asked and been quoted in time and time again. This report or this commission mainly was formed to look into the questions of those the list who have converted to other religions should also given right of reservation. What should be the government to do to benefit their social status? Now Dalit, Christians and Muslim faced discrimination from those religion where they have converted and from the existing system as well. So they are getting the bad end of the bargain in both the sides, and the exclusion of the Dalits who had converted to Christianity, Islam from the scheduled caste category is a violation of right to equality. This is what the report had said. The report said it just because they convert to Islam Christianity does not mean that they lose their right of reservation. The commission said the scheduled caste status converts to Christianity, and to those who have converted to Islam will lead to their socio-economic development, and denying them the reservation rights is a violation of their fundamental rights. So this report wholeheartedly supported this idea that even those elites who have converted to Christianity or Islam should get the reservation benefits. What did the government say? Not interested. The government did not accept this recommendation. Government said that no, we are happy in the current status. Now also coming back to what is the highlight of this article is that the constitutional order of 1950s. Now what exactly is this? Is a presidential order given at the beginning of the constitution. This order specifically mentions who are the caste SC community who shall given the reservation benefits. So there is a constitutional order for SC, for scheduled caste and backward caste. Now this order etc. came into being into the beginning of the contribution. This order said only Hindus can be recognized as scheduled caste because it is considered it is only in the Hindu religion that the problem of untouchability has existed. In the past, the order also said that every member of a certain sect such as Ramadesai, Kabir, Panthi, Mazhabi, Patiala or East Punjab, all of this nowadays Punjabs only can see deemed to be the member of scheduled caste whether they are from Hindu or from Sikh religion, because as you know from our religion also different states have originated in the past. They are still keep on originating in today's time also. Many of the peoples who might seem to be following Hindu religion for example demand that no, they follow a different part of the religion, they should be recognized as such in the caste census. However, in the in 1950s, only these are given to the scheduled caste status. The order has abandoned in 1956 to include the elites who have converted to Sikhism, and again in 1990s for those who have converted to Buddhism. By why? Because of recommendation given by Kaka Kalilkar Commission in 1955. Then in 1983, again the High Panel Commission suggested the same. However, this has not included those Dalits who have converted to Islam or Christianity, and this is the entire fight because they have deprived of their reservation benefits. So far this was our first article. The second article, the data heavy based on a lot of graphs that have charts given in the article where the data have been derived from the thus High Court portal, where the informations have been given about the pending cases in the High Court in India, what is the pendency, how many bail petitions especially are pending, and now has this how has this progressed in the past few years. Basically, in simple terms, let me first tell you what to remember, what not to remember. See, it's very difficult to remember the exact data. You might remember this today, but I know by the time that you start to appear in mains exam from today till then, it will be long time. You might not really remember all this data that you have now reading. My suggestion always is, if you can remember excellent data, excellent, nothing like that. But if you can't remember the data, try and remember trends. When I say trends, means is it increasing, is it decreasing, why is it increasing, or it is decreasing. Some data it is easier to remember. Go ahead with the more data that you can try to camp up from now onwards. It will be very difficult for you to retain in your memory, so take a pick of some of the important data, focus more on the trends, whether the data is increasing or decreasing. It will be much better. So that the trends mainly is that moving on into the next article in the next video. Thanks for watching.